Hello everyone, Nate here with Simply Sharp, and today I wanted to do a follow-up on my review of the new WorkSharp Ken Onion Mk.2. This little guy right here. One of the commenters, Dan, suggested like, hey, it's been a couple months, why don't you go ahead and do a follow-up to the review? So just as a recap, or if you didn't see my initial review of this video, one big thing I did was I modified this little plastic guard here. And the reason I did that was because it was making it very challenging to get the belts on and off. Subsequently, I'm even more glad I did it because getting in there and kind of cleaning all the dust out has been a little bit of a challenge. But what I thought I'd do is my dad dropped off his dull knives, so here's one of them. I thought I'd sharpen this guy while kind of explaining how I feel about this after 2 months. All right, so first things first, I got to put a belt on, and trimming this down certainly has made it easier. Still, this knob right here kind of gets in the way. This is not terrible, but I got to kind of lift it up and get around. It's not the end of the world. It is quite a lot easier with the rest of the guard removed, and nothing kind of getting caught or hung up anymore. So it works pretty well. No noticeable real difference that exacerbates me or anything like that while I'm sharpening. Now, one thing I'll point out is I've really kind of come to love this here, and just in general, I'm opposed to adding a bunch of fancy electronics to things that maybe just don't need it. When you could just use a regular switch or something, why do you have to make something fancy? But this has really turned out to be a lot better than I thought it was going to be. In fact, I really highly value it. So if I get this thing started, and then you hit the continuous run up there, I start at the lowest speed. I'll go ahead and stop that for a second. I use a 3-belt progression starting with a P120, and then I move up to an A30, and then I do a leather strop. Shout out to Cliff Curry. I get all of my belts when possible from him. They perform great. They last a long time. There's 5 of us here at Simply Sharp using these things to sharpen on, and we use all of Cliff's belts. And I would guess on average, we're probably still hanging in there in anywhere from 120 to 150 knives on these P120s. So we do take a little bit of care of them by cleaning them off with kind of the whatever that little gummy stick is that you hit it with. I can't remember what it's called right now. Also, when I'm doing like any sort of heavy repair work, I use old P120s. I don't use a brand new one because that'll really eat some things up. So for example, this knife, I should probably do a little bit of a bolster reduction right there. I'm not going to do that for this video because it's going to take longer than I feel like doing it. Dad, sorry, I'll fix that for you next time. But yeah, so this is my progression. This is what I use. Let's get started. Slow speed. So what I additionally like about this unit over the previous one is that it is actually a bit quieter. Like obviously not with the knives on it, but just running on its own, it is a bit quieter. I also feel like the belt sits flatter on things, and the way you can space this out, so I can, if I need more slack in there, I can move it to this position. If I want to make this a little stiffer in there, I can move these wheels closer together. The previous one had that feature as well, but you had to like unscrew it and put it back in. Honestly, I didn't even know it had that feature until somebody at the Western Sharpeners around pointed that out to me. I've not adjusted any of my old ones at all to do this, but I do definitely adjust this one. So we've had a few passes per side. I've got a decent burr through most of it, missing a little bit right here, so let me give it a few more. All right, there we go. Nice consistent burr all the way. I can see it. I got some decent light in here, but I always kind of do a little feel test. All right, so now the next part of this, getting the belts off. That was actually the hardest part before I reduced this area, getting these things off. Now they come off fairly easily. Still got to get around this little horn down there from this lever, but it's way better than it was. Let me put the next belt on. Well, I got to start my air filter. I don't need to breathe this crap in. Still got the air filter rocking. Love this thing. I'm probably about due for a new, to actually put a new filter on it. All right, so I stopped there. I want to do enough passes to refine the edge, and I want to get a good amount of the burr worked off. But now I'm just going to move on to the strop. Now, interestingly, originally I also did another video of how I couldn't run a leather belt with this little clip on here. I accidentally did that the other day, and it worked just fine. So we're going to try it again, see if I can be 2 for 2 on that. This is just. This belt might be from Leather Belt Man. Cliff does also sell these, but I like his. I like Leather Belt Man. I just get them from wherever I can get them. I'm looking down. It's maybe every now and then making some random contact, but otherwise it looks pretty good clearance-wise back there. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe my belt's stretched. I don't know. But actually, this belt probably is pretty stretched out. I don't take anywhere near as good a care of it as I should, but it's working. All right, me personally, I ramp up the speed, so I just like being able to just do that right here. All right, I'm usually at 4 when I'm stropping. I'm all about this blue compound now. Again, I got it from Cliff. Others sell it as well. What I like about it is the white compound does a good job and doesn't really gunk up anything. The green compound does a better job, especially at burr removal, but holy crap, can it make a gunky mess. This blue one seems to just be right in the sweet spot. Good ability to remove any remaining burr and polish the knives, and does not gunk things up. All right, and then we'll do our trusty microfiber cloth test. So I'm just drawing it across that microfiber. If you're not doing this, really this is an exercise to see how much burr, if any, is still on there. Sometimes obviously a visual inspection will work, but there's a lot of stuff you can just miss. So you can feel that, and you'll also feel any defects. So if you missed a chip or something like that, it's gonna snag there and you're gonna notice it. So highly recommend just doing that little test. I will always cut some paper. Everyone seems to like it. B, of course. All right, here we go. So I'm kind of feeling for any sort of, if it starts to drag, if it kind of starts if I feel a pop, usually a pop is a sign that I didn't get a chip out that I missed. If it's dragging, I'm not done. I might have left burr on there. I might have just not done a good job in one of the earlier steps. You saw that towards the back of the knife here, and that's because I couldn't get back here because I didn't reduce the bolster like I should. I'm gonna have to fix that now. But anyways, there we go. That's sharpening on this. All right, so I've been using this thing for a couple of months now. What are my final opinions on it? This is the one I use every day now. I still got a bunch of the Mark 1s. I'm using this one every day now. I kind of committed to like, hey, I'm just going to try it out and see how it works. And that's what I did. But it's just the one now. I carry both with me. I carry one of the old ones as a backup unit in case something happens and I need to, swap them out or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm using this guy consistently every day. I don't know that I would do that without having modified this. Maybe I'll do another experiment where I actually have a couple still in the box. Maybe I'll do an experiment where I grab one that's not been modified and try to use it for a month and see what happens. But yeah, I'm actually quite happy with it. I don't use this thing right here, in case anyone's wondering. I've yet to find, this guy pops up. I can do it, right? So you can, guess, do your reference plane up here and pull it down. I don't know. Never used it. The other, actually, one important thing that I forgot to mention. So, if you don't use this clip, take it off. If you don't use this clip, there is this lip right here, right? And that actually winds up mattering when you're doing something. So I'll do some knife repair back there. I will especially do things like if I'm sharpening mandolin blades, I'll do that back there. And that little lip, even with the thickness of the belt, matters. It gets in the way. It's just a problem. So you got to make sure you put this clip back on. I actually revert to the old Ken Onion when I'm doing something like that. It's just there. It's ready to go. I just pull that guy out and use him instead. So yeah, but other than that, I guess I could just put this clip on now that I don't have to take it off every time for my leather belt. Other than that, this is my everyday driver now. It is quieter. I feel like it has a little bit more power to it. I'm hoping it's a little bit more resilient. I have blown up 2 of these, the old ones now. I honestly feel like dust gets in there. And no matter how hard I try to keep dust out, I clean these things after every sharpening. I feel like dust is getting in those motors and blows them up. Hopefully this one is more resilient to that. I really get a lot of value out of this digital control, especially if I've got knives where I'm going from having to, really fix something all the way down. Like I start sharpening there at the lowest level. I did that entire sharpening on the first belt there. Yeah, so there we go. This is my everyday driver. Love that feature. Still love my ability to quickly, while running, adjust the angles. That's a lot easier. So it's my everyday driver. I think you have to make this modification though, if this is going to be something you do a lot of knives with. Hope that helped. Thank you, everyone.